I'm Tyler Austin from Going Near Strategic. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing to either my player or my Patreon channel. Links are down in the description below, of course. This video is going to be the first video in a new series I'm going to be doing, all on the topic of defensive driving, and will generally consist of TTPs and other tips and tricks to keep yourself safe when traveling in a vehicle. And for this first video, I thought it'd be a good idea to cover something that if you've been driving for any long period of time, you probably have experience with, or if you haven't had an experience like this yet, you likely will, and that is being followed by another car. The first few videos of this series is going to be dedicated to this topic, with this video being on the topic of how to identify if somebody is tailing you, i.e. following you. And then in the next few videos, I'm going to be talking about what to do when you've identified that you have a tail. Alright, so now let's talk about how to identify when somebody is tailing you. Obviously, there are a lot of signs that can potentially lead you to believe that someone is tailing you, especially if those in the vehicle that are following you have more malicious intent, whether that's road rage or something else that will lead to more overtly aggressive driving behaviors towards you, such as really aggressively tailgating you and so forth. But it's important that we know how to identify a tail even when the suspected person who is following us isn't displaying overtly aggressive driving behavior towards us. Just because someone is following you doesn't necessarily mean that they have malicious intent. They could simply be following you because they want to tell you that you have a brake light out. I've had multiple people follow me just because they want to tell me that I had a light out or something along those lines. So it wasn't malicious. But with that being said, whenever someone is following you, you have to assume malicious intent. So with all that being said, let's say you are driving down a road and you have some reason to believe that the car behind you is following you. How do you confirm whether or not that car is actually following you? Because for all you know, they just may have the same commute as you do. There are a few different ways to do this, but quite frankly, the simplest and most concrete technique or concept really to confirm the tail is to do something called driving the box. So what is driving the box? So let's say you have a main road and you are traveling north down that main road. And off that main road, there are side roads that lead eventually back to that main road. So if you are traveling north down that main road and you exit off that main road and take those side roads that eventually loop back to the main road, and then you continue traveling north down that main road, that would be called driving the box. I've made an animation to demonstrate this. The blue car is you, and the red car is your suspected tail. So blue is traveling north down this main road and he believes red is following him. He breaks off to a side road on the right, which will eventually lead back to the main road. If red follows blue while taking this detour, it is virtually guaranteed that red is following blue. The reason is simply because this path and this detour doesn't make any sense. If you were going to continue traveling north, you would just stay on the main road. It would make little sense to take this big old detour just to link back up to the main road and continue traveling north. And that's the beauty of this particular technique, because there's virtually no way that this can be coincidental. The only logical reason why red would drive this route is because you drove it and he was following you. And at that point, of course, you have confirmed your tail, or have confirmed the fact that this individual is following you. Now, the technique of driving the box is more of a concept than it is a hard technique where you drive a literal box or a square. You don't have to actually drive a box. All it has to be is a route or a path that otherwise would not make any sense. So another example of driving the box, quote unquote, would be entering a roundabout and then exiting the roundabout on the same road in which you entered the roundabout. And there are countless other variations of driving the box in which you can do. It's all about driving a route that does not make sense. And that is the simplest and most concrete way of confirming whether or not someone is following you. In my next video, I'm going to give you courses of action you can take once you've confirmed the fact that someone is following you, and probably even more importantly, what not to do when someone is following you. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'm Tyler Austin from Gungnir Strategic. Thank you so much for watching.